And I think we are ready to watch the match indeed, so we're going to head down there right now. MTGO Masters Week 7 match number 1 of Season 2. We got Kanister playing Amulet Titan, Jim Davis playing Eldrazi. Let's look at these opening hands. Jim's hand is interesting. There's no red mana yet for any sort of breach shenanigans, but he does have the Ugin's Labyrinth, excuse me, and the Gemstone Cavern. So if he is on the draw, because Kanister is going first here, so he gets to deploy both the Gemstone Caverns as the fast mana and the Ugin's Lab on turn 1. That's 3 mana on turn 1, Rebel.
Wow. That's like almost as good as a Soul Ring, right?
Almost, right?
Yeah.
And we see Kanister taking a couple of mulligans here. He is playing the Aftermath Analyst version of this list, which there's a combo with the Lotus Field plus Mirror Pool plus Aftermath Analyst. If you ask me to explain the combo, I might explode. But I do know that it goes infinite if you have X amount of amulets and a Lotus Field in the graveyard. So hopefully Kanister's actions do the combo in for me.
Yeah, and I've actually watched Kanister a lot on Lotus Field as well for Pioneer too. So this is just kind of like everything he's really good at.
Yeah, Jim gets to reveal the Devourer here and the Gemstone Caverns. He can actually pitch the Devourer if he wants to, but I expect him to probably pitch an Embercool here.
Yeah. I don't think he'll need to.
Yeah, I definitely don't really need to. Turn 1 Urza Saga for Kanister, trying to get that early Amulet down. Here's Devourer. Look at the top 4. Deep 1.
So what do you think that Kozilek's command is going to do here? Yeah, would you like save it to like try and hit something, or would you just use it purely for ramp?
Honestly, I think in this matchup in particular, unless you're trying to snipe an Aftermath Analyst, you might want to just fire it off for 1 and then take your 1 Scion token plus your card draw.
As you said, it's just 2 ships, right? So we're trying to pad a little faster here.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Just trying to get out ahead.
But having that turn 1 gemstone, yeah, and then the Ugin.
So Jim exiled all 4 to that Devourer and picked up another All Is Dust. So it looks like Jim might be kind of struggling for land drops here. So I definitely expect him to fire off his Kozilek's command looking for a 3rd land. Here's the Aftermath Analyst, mill 3. Couple of bounce lands in a ring. Kanister's preferred art of the 1 ring. Sorry, Twitch chat.
And I think we're seeing the Kozilek's command now.
Yeah, Kozilek's command for 1 here. Do you call it K command? Or I call it Cozy command because I feel like calling it K command disrespects Kolaghan.
I agree, but also I don't feel very cozy whenever I see this card on the stack.
I definitely don't either. I just feel sad.
I've actually played against that card a lot in recent RCQs, but I never properly read it, so I just assumed every time it just beats me.
Good early, good late. It's the Swiss Army knife of Eldrazi here. Kindred Instant, by the way, adds 2 types for Emrakul, the Promised End.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's the land he's looking for.
Yeah, so we have 5 mana, but nothing to do with it because we don't have a breach here. So I expect him to just play Boseiju and pass. I mean, you could Boseiju this Urza Saga. It would be a very heads-up play here. It's
Spot the Amulet.
Risky, though. Yeah. Especially with this Aftermath Analyst out. I kind of think if I'm Jim here, I would value just developing the mana a little bit more than disrupting at this point. Because if you top deck Breach, Kanister's pretty much dead.
So how would you breach from here?
Got the red from the Gemstone Cavern because it has the luck counter on it.
Yeah, but how are you filling the yard? Oh, wait.
Through the breach.
Through the breach. All right, cool.
So we just get the hasty Emrakul here and have Kanister sacrifice 6 permanents.
Hard to come back from that.
Yeah, and Jim agrees. Looks like he's going to deploy the Boseiju. And just pass the turn. Really nothing exciting in the hand of Jim. This All His Dust is like kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, especially what.
Oh,
Ooh,
little top deck Titan.
so you
So
find Amulet here, right?
you can float a mana, you can play the Lotus Field, you can float mana, you can sacrifice Analyst, you can return every single land back, and then make enough mana to cast this Primeval Titan with an Amulet on the field, and I think that's probably just GG. We're gonna see Kanister float the mana, go get the Amulet, play the Lotus Field, I imagine. Could also play it safe and play the Ring, but it's not super safe because he has to sack both of his lands, so I think this Analyst is going this turn.
Yeah. Guess what would you be trying to read from the other deck, right? As interaction.
Kozilek's
Maybe.
command exiles the graveyard, so you gotta be careful of that. Kanister could get super blown out here if he goes for it into a Kozilek's command, but I kind of think he's priced into going for it because the more time you give Jim, the more time he has to find through the breach and just win the game on the spot. I kind of like going for it here from the side of Kanister, even though he doesn't know if his opponent has Kozilek's command. And now he does know. No Kozilek's command spotted. It's Titan time.
Here we go. I think after you solve one, I think the likelihood is like a little less.
Yeah, so he's stacking it so that way the Urza Saga gets the counter so it can float colorless before it untaps. And it has to bounce or sack anything to these Lotus Field plus bounce lands, crew lands. So it's 3 green with the Lotus Field, another green with the Forest. I see it colorless off the Urza Saga.
Oh, and you can pick up the Lotus Field too if you want to. That's so cool.
I guess pick up any land here. And the Primeval Titan's probably going to net him a Boseiju as well. Get Boseiju this Ugin's Lab and make sure that you don't get breached the following turn if you're not just going to win the game. Kanister's probably just trying to figure out if he can win the game on the spot here.
Yeah. So what's the line here? How would he win on the spot? Is it like Slayer Stronghold?
Let's do some math here. So he's got 8, 9, 10 mana, which means you can play Prime Time. You'll have 4 left over. You can get Bounce Land Mirror Pool. I think you need 2 amulets for that. You do need the colorless off the Mirror Pool. If he saves the colorless from the Urza Saga, then maybe he can Mirror Pool this Titan and then haste both of them and win. I don't know. I don't play this deck for a reason. I don't
It's
think you
been a
can
while
haste
since
both of
I've seen a
them.
Titan.
Yeah, he doesn't get to haste both of them because of this amulet. Oh, it goes for a Shifting Woodland
Oh.
and the haste land. Interesting. Maybe we're just gonna haste this Titan, play a ring. I mean, that seems pretty we're getting the analyst.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Big brain, because now we get 2 bounce lands, and we get to sacrifice the analyst. Or if he has another Lotus Field in the list, he can go grab. Oh, he has Echoing Deeps to copy Lotus Field.
Wow.
And we get to float all this mana, sacrifice, return all of our lands. Spins a Cultivator Colossus while we're at it. Surprise, bunch of lands.
Got all those triggers.
So fascinating watching Kanister play this list because I never know what line he's gonna take.
It's also just really impressive how fast he's doing this.
The tried and true amuletos. It looks like we can Shifting Woodland, copy something else again, right? We can copy the Analyst again.
Yeah, I'm like so excited by the Shifting Woodland now. It's so
He
cool.
gets infinite mana here. What's he gonna do with it?
Um, is there? I wonder if there's any way you could uh have the woodland copy the ring and have like draws that way.
Oh, you know what's happening? He's doing this infinite times. He's going to surveil through his entire deck until he finds something else that he wants to copy with
Copy.
woodland.
Okay.
And then you surveil even more lands during the process. You probably have a Kessig Wolf Run in there. Holy schmoly. Jim's dead.
Yeah.
He has
Now
to
we're
do
just
this.
here to see what the win is.
He's going to iterate this like probably around 40 times. So we're in for a long one. All right, can we get this sped up with some Benny Hill music?
What do you think Jim's thinking about right now? Just while this is all happening, you think he's thinking
Why
about dinner?
he's probably thinking, why didn't I top deck through the breach?
Yeah.
And also, what am I getting for dinner after I'm down a match already, or down a game at least? This is brutal. I mean, it's turn 3, like 2 ships passing in the night, proving itself once again. This is deterministic because of the surveil lands, meaning more and more mana,
Yeah.
because we already net enough mana to be able to loop this analyst infinite times. So hitting these surveil lands, binning more and more lands, making more mana, eventually finding our utility land that's gonna be the payoff. If we find a mirror pool, we can copy this Titan and then get more lands. If we find Kessig Wolf Run, it's over. If we find, I don't even know. I have to go look at his list. Okay, Kanister wins. Jim said, I've seen
Seen
enough.
enough. Yeah.
Get me out of here. Exclamation mark amulet.
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Kanister was probably gonna bounce Besaju over and over, Besaju all of his lands, and then go from there. There was a million ways for him to win that game. Sideboard wise, though, anything interesting on either side, Rebel?
I'm trying to take a look here. Solar Stealer might matter. Yeah, actually, Solar Stealer does matter. Because then that turns off the Analyst Bring and stuff, right?
Yeah, it looks like
And the Bojuka Bog too.
yeah, maybe a piece of graveyard. Wow, do you need actual graveyard hate against Amulet Titan now? That's wild. What a timeline.
I
I
actually
can't
kind of want to play this deck now.
I can't tell exactly how many analysts Canister's leaving in, but I don't think it's too many.
You probably just need. I see there's only one.
Yeah, just one to summoners pack for. I guess that makes sense, right? Because you don't really need it to kill most of the time. It's kind of just like a niche loop that you have access to.
Yeah, and also just still like bluff it or threaten it. Because this is like part of the game, right? Because now they're trying to figure out how much of the sideboard cards to bring in without jeopardizing their main plan.
Yeah, exactly. Because if Jim overboards all this graveyard hate, and then Canister's like, I just didn't draw my one copy or didn't need my one copy of Aftermath Analyst, Jim's gonna sit there and be like, why did I board in all of these soulless jailers and all this like Majuka Bog, and it's just gonna be useless. I like the mulligan from Jim as well, because that one land hand was not gonna get there.
Yeah.
This hand's looking pretty promising. An early Myco spawn. You might want to save it to kick it, but I mean, a pair of amulets from the side of Canister makes any top deck bounce land just that much more deadly.
Yeah.
So I think it's a snap keep for Canister because it's a turn 2 ring. Because you can go turn 1 amulet, turn 2 tap the same land, play the amulet, play bounce land, net 4 mana, ring. So doesn't get much better for the side of Canister. Jim is looking at kind of a weird hand. I think you probably put back maybe Kozilek's command. It's so good though.
Yeah. It's just very tough to like. I guess when I'm sitting from Jim's perspective, knowing what the other hand is it's just so hard to figure out like how to mulligan for this, right? Like, because now we're still back in the situation of like, well, we really kind of have to draw that through the breach pretty quickly.
Yeah, and he puts back Devourer. I kind of like keeping the Devourer just because it's some
Yeah,
smoothing. Unless you find the red source plus the breach faster, because I think that's probably your best bet at winning this matchup.
Microspawn finds a land too, right? It finds a land and then exiles if you kick it.
Yeah, the kicker is 6 total.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
there's the breach. Opts just to go for Kozilek's command on 2, making 2 Scions, scrying 2, drawing a card, and if he finds the breach, probably over for Kanister because he's going to lose 6 permanents, even though he's got ring protection this turn. So Emrakul is not going to deal him 15. However, losing land plus double amulet plus a ring is not nothing.
Yeah, having 2 amulets out your deck, even if you're able to potentially play, is a lot.
Yeah, we see the Kozilek's command coming out here, making 2 Scions, looking at 2 cards. Potentially 3 if he bottoms both.
Then we hit the red source. Come on, Jim.
Ancient Stirring's Mycospawn, I think that's a bottom.
Yup.
You don't have a green source out right now, so you can't even dig with the Ancient Stirrings to find it. And he finds a Cavern of Souls. That's not a
Oh,
red source.
but this one, this draw, come on.
Part of the cards. Ooh. All right. I guess we're going to have to settle for a kicked Mycospawn, finding a red source. That's very dangerous for Jim.
Yeah,
With double amulet, active ring, Kanister's saying 3 new cards. And he could probably just eat Jim with no lands. This is definitely getting a red source, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
It's kind of fascinating. We'll see how this plays out. That's another amulet right there.
Oh,
The
well,
Michelson Garden.
sometimes when you play a 31 to 32 land deck, you'll draw 7 of them in your hand. And, excuse me, 8. So Kanister is probably just going to go land go, and he does. And now it's Breach, Emrakul, win the game time.
Yup.
It looks like we're going to game 3.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, we saw Jim not being able to hit the red land. And there was also a chance that Canister was not gonna see the right cards, and here we are.
Kanister saw a lot of lands. There's another one for good measure. On to game 3. That was a toughie for Kanister, but again, when you register so many lands in your deck, you are prone to flooding. If you found like Grazer plus Titan, I think that turn he probably just wins instead. Double Amulet once again for Kanister. This is the best deck of the 4-bet, ladies and gentlemen. If you can open up Double Amulet every single time, like a true professional. And some mulligans on the side of Jim. We have an Ugin's Lab into a turn 1 Talisman.
It's been so long since I've seen a World Breaker.
World Breaker's hot right now. I will say that. It's so good in the Eldrazi mirrors, just being able to take out Ring, take out a Soul Land. It's good. Good.
And it hits pretty hard.
Sneaky Reach, too.
Does it
Pretty
have
relevant.
sneaky reach?
It does. It's in like the 5th line of text. It says Reach,
Wow.
which is super relevant against all the Guide Souls going around right now. It's like, all right, give my thing
True.
flying. It's like Sneaky Reach block. 5/7.
Win the qualification.
Devourer gonna exile 3, elects to keep the Through the Breach on top, which is not coming down on turn 2, but it is gonna come down on turn 3, assuming Jim draws his 5th mana source.
World Breaker's exile is on cast, right? Or is it ETB?
Yes,
Yeah.
cast. Third Amulet is the pickup for Kanister.
Wow.
Well, he's got a turn 3 guaranteed, but let's see if he can survive that long. I think the only way he dies here, I don't think he can die because Jim would have to top deck another Ugin's Lab, but if he draws another Ugin's Lab to cast the Breach, he has nothing to breach in, and currently no Emrakul either. So you're probably pretty safe just deploying 2 more Amulets this turn and saying go from the side of Kanister.
Yeah, we're seeing exactly that.
Amuletos, second Amuletos, third Amuletos, go.
Yeah, the deck's a lot better when you just open, 3 amulets.
That's the wrong soul land, Jim. All good. Like I said, nothing to breach in, so it's probably fine drawing this Eldrazi Temple. Sets up a pretty meaty Kozilek's command for 3, but there's not too much else you can do against this Primeval Titan. And Mirror Pool, Primeval Titan, I think it's just going to get there. Double Hasty Primeval Titan, go get yourself a Dryad, Valakut. I think it might be time to salute Jim. 07's chat. Go pick up the Teleria West as well. Have something to transmute later.
Transmute for Summoner's Pack to get the Analyst for style points. Yeah.
True. Go get a Lotus Field here. Make 9 mana. Transmute Analyst. Pop off. Do it, Kanister. Do it. You are on MTGO Masters. So that way you can use all the camera time.
You have
Shifting
16 minutes.
Oh, goes for the Mirror Pool. There was no Shifting Woodland plus Lotus Field. To be fair, I don't think he would have had enough types in the graveyard to even use the Shifting Woodland, so this is a much safer kill. But not nearly as exciting. Makes a copy.
We're about to get a lot more lands.
Also, if you did go for the Analyst line, that Kozilek's command for 3 is going to take out all the lands in the graveyard anyways, so very heads up for Kanister to not do that. And Kanister wins the match. Just like that, got the Haste land plus the Surveil land. Haste both of those Titans. Bop, bop. 6 points apiece. Main phase 2, get a Dryad, play a Valakut. Find another like Grazer or something, play another one, and then that's all she wrote.